now.
We're streaming. I haven't started my camera yet. It says that you have prevented me from doing that.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, I am going to give you access to our, I'll make you the host and then I'll take back the host.
Okay.
So now you should be able to turn on your camera. Now I'm going to take back the host and I'm going to do the same for Juan Pablo. So Juan Pablo, now you're able to turn on your camera. And that's it. Good morning, Chris.
Okay.
Thank you very much for joining us. Welcome to Polaris Controls Live 2023. This is the audio control session we're very excited to have. Thank you very much.
Great to be here, guys. I'm very proud.
Con nosotros está Chris Kane, que es la persona que maneja audio control para toda el área internacional. Chris lleva más de 32 años con audio control y ha sido clave en el éxito de la marca a través de los años. También se encuentra con nosotros el ingeniero Juan Pablo García, nuestro director técnico directo desde Guatemala. Así que los dejo y están en tremendas manos. Go ahead.
All right. You see that okay?
Yes, we can look at it, Chris.
Great, great. So, well, good morning, everyone from Audio Control. My name is Chris Kane, Vice President of Sales and Marketing with Audio Control, and very proud to be here and to be able to introduce you to our company. Hopefully many of you have some experience with our brands. Today, we're going to focus on a subject that's very near and dear to us, is the power of audio control amplification. You know, all amplifiers are not created equal, and arguably we make some of the best amplifiers that are out there. So we're very excited to kind of share that with everyone about what we're doing. So Audio Control, by the way, is, for those of you who don't know, is we're celebrating our 46th year in business. We're based in the Pacific Northwest. Seattle, Washington is where we do most of our design and manufacturing and assembly. So we have a great team up there of assembly people. That's where we've been. We have a lot of music buffs working for us. And most people know us as building a very solid, a very reliable and robust product. But over the last 15 years, I think if you spend some time at some of the CD expos or some of the tech events that are out there, you would see a lot of our products in other booths, you know, used by different manufacturers, you know, speaker companies and control system companies, and even booth companies like Reva. So we had a lot of dealers that would come to us and say, wow, I've really, you know, I've heard about audio control, but I'm starting to see that everywhere. And I think that's kind of a testament to not only the quality of the product we build, but the sound quality components. So, you know, we're very proud of the product from power standpoint, but certainly in terms of how we build it. So a little picture of a Seattle background here. This is what it looks like when it's not raining in Seattle, which is
actually, Chris, we're looking just the PowerPoint. We're not looking at the slides per se.
Oh, is it sharing the wrong? Let's see here. Let me change the share here. All right. How's that?
Now we go.
Okay, great. Sorry about that. When you have multiple screens, knowing what's on there. So anyways, that's a little bit of pictures, obviously, of our factory, and this is where we're based up in Washington. So but certainly a lovely place to be. You know, a lot of traditional audio companies, music companies come from the Seattle area. Companies going back, you know, Carvers and Mackeys and things of that nature. So one of them we're going to talk about today is obviously just you know, some people know us for equalization, some small zone components, but these days in the category of amplification, we do whole house audio, we do zone amplifiers, we do some home theater. New this year, we'll talk about this morning, is 70 volt amplifiers, which is just a huge category for us, as well as some measurement and correction. So Audio Control is an amplifier company that builds amplifiers. That's our value point to our dealers. You know, we think about the category all the time. We think about higher power levels and we think about audio performance. Some companies, I think, treat distributed audio and whole house audio as background music only. But I think we've all seen in the last few years where there's a large growth of architectural speakers, whether they're invisible speakers, in-wall speakers, in ceiling speakers, outdoor audio speakers. And the experiences you can get through those architectural speakers can be very reflective of what you're doing, with large standalone box speakers in some cases. But you need to have the proper amount of power to drive those speakers to do that. And whereas some companies have certainly taken the approach of lower power levels, AudioControl has always said, well, how do we get the best possible sound out of those speakers? So when a client listens to that system and goes, wow, this sounds better than my last house, or this sounds like a concert, or they have that experience, that's the kind of magic that we're trying to pass on to them. And kind of the secret sauce of that when it comes to AudioControl is certainly amplifier power. A lot of companies will take the path, like I said, of marketing wattage, where we tend to take the path of engineering wattage. We design our amplifiers to be all channels driven. Most of our distributed audio amps are 100 watts per channel into 8 ohms. They'll double that into 4 ohms. They're bridgeable, and they certainly add a level of reliability. All products from AudioControl come with a 5-year parts and labor warranty. So something we're very, very proud of. I don't think you'll see that from a lot of companies that may have somebody else build their products from them, which is one of the reasons we have a very strong reputation in the industry. Now, in our amplifier family, we have a number of models. We can't talk about them all today, but just some highlights, which is our Architect series, which is our standalone workhorse amplifiers, the Director series, which we're going to dive into a little bit more today, which are DSP-based amplifiers, and then our Rialtos and Bijous, which are some of our small zone amplifiers. And like I said, at the core of this, AudioControl is horsepower. And our original products going back years ago were equalization products, where dealers and customers would buy speakers. They would take those speakers home. They would put those speakers into their house, and maybe the speakers were put into the corner of the room, or they were put in a spot that was behind some furniture or near some furniture. So you would end up with changes in the way those speakers sounded. Equalization was a great tool that AudioControl offered in our early products that allowed you to fine tune and calibrate and balance out that speaker system. Clients have long enjoyed what the benefits of an equalization. And mind you, equalization is not there to take less than ideal speakers in a terrible location and make them sound better, but it allows some balance. It allows better bass response. It can allow a little better high end, particularly these days as we get into architectural speakers. Now you have speakers that in some cases are going in, towards the end of the installation. You don't have as much acoustical opportunities as you did with some of the products that were there before. So we've developed products, which is our Architect amplifier, where this is basically, we have a 12 and 16 channel amplifiers, but we have equalization built into that. So the value point to your clients is when all is said and done, we're going to come in and calibrate and tune the system. And the clients appreciate that, and that a special personalization that comes with that. And then those that are doing the installation and the calibration also appreciate the fact they have some flexibility on the amplifier to do that. Now, the first rule of equalization is you don't have to go in and change everything. You want to measure it, take a listen to it, but then equalization will help bring that system all together. Our Architect amplifiers are a perfect example of that, where we have 6 bands or 5 bands of EQ that are on here for each pair of channels. So it gives you that extra level of flexibility. These amplifiers are also have bus inputs, so you can feed them digital inputs. I can feed them analog inputs, or I can feed them local inputs. So I can feed 2 or 3 sources in here. So this would be a great product to use after a control system, or as a standalone with a second zone out of a receiver or from a preamp of some sort. And in the Architect family, we have a number of models. We have an 8-channel, we have a 12-channel, and a 16-channel. And we have 3U, we built 3U products. Now we build 2U products and 1U products. I don't plan on any 0U products at this point, but you never know. We're always trying to make it smaller and get you more power levels. The equalization is an option on both of the 12 channel as well as the 16 channel. So these have been very successful products for AudioControl, and they kind of laid the groundwork and the foundation for our directors, and these are our DSP amplifiers. And AudioControl has been a manufacturer of DSP amps for close to 15 years now, where we took a lot of that equalization capabilities and built those into the amplifier. So instead of having knobs and switches on the front side and on the back side, we actually have a GUI, and this GUI allows you to log onto the amplifier, and it gives you the ability to go in and adjust the equalization controls manually via the GUI. But this gives me another level of flexibility where I can create equalization profiles. I can create crossover points, which means I can take any channel on that amplifier and make it a full range channel, a high pass channel, or even a subwoofer channel. So you're going to have applications in some cases where, normally I was going to use multiple amplifiers, 1 amp in my house to run outdoor speakers, and maybe another 12 by 30 from someone to one whole house, and then another amplifier for a subwoofer. In this case, we can take our 1 amplifier, we can take the crossover, and we can assign different channels to specific speakers. So one 16-channel amplifier could replace 3, arguably maybe even more amplifiers. So adding a lot of flexibility with only 1 chassis in there. Additionally, the Director series, we have our D series, which are our dedicated DSP-based amplifiers. But the Director series also has the M series. Now, the M series are matrixing amplifiers. And when I mean matrixing, that means I can do source selection. I can route any input source to any of the output channels, and I can control volume on that channel. And we have drivers available for these products for common control systems like Control 4, Crestron Home, and Savant, and even Elan. So you can use these as standalone amplified audio matrices. So the question is, well, what's the application for those? And we have applications here, for instance, where a traditional Control 4 type of system might require a standalone processor and a standalone amplifier, where our Director M series will actually allow you to have one product that could replace both of those products, and arguably a much better amplifier, because we think about amplification. And there's a similar application available for people that may have 16 channels. So some real power levels in terms of performance there. And like I said, we have built-in EQ partners here from companies like Origin Acoustics, Savant, James, Triad. There's over 200 different starting EQ points. So these are default EQs. These are speaker profiles that start the program. And then as a dealer, you have the ability to go in and fine tune the sound. Additionally, we have control system drivers available for Control 4, RTI, Savant. We actually partnered up with Josh a couple of years ago also. So we were very comfortable with these. So you have the value point now to be able to offer to your client, the highest possible quality of amplification matched up with whatever speaker system they like, as well as a control system. So lots of flexibility in the Director series. It makes this a very power offering to what you do for your customers. And then some of the flexibility, for instance, where I can also take for that system where perhaps the client does not want to have a control system in there or something simpler, or they want to put more of their budget and time and effort towards the speakers and the amplification. This is an application with our friends at Sonos, where I'm running 4 of the Sonos ports, and I'm running those into the digital inputs on the amplifier. So I'm getting superior audio performance at that level. And I can then run the amplifier into the speakers, and the clients can use their Sonos Connect port or app to control the system. And then they can put the budget towards better things like the speakers and other things in the application. So a good budget oriented approach here, but at the same time, those clients are maybe looking for a little more simpler application. There are a number of members of the Director family here, 6 of them. And certainly the team at Polaris Controls can kind of point you towards the right model. And of course, our team at AudioControl can assist in guiding in that direction. Now, an extension of our amplifier family, and I teased you guys at the beginning of this, is a year ago, we took that Director DSP capability and we actually built that and wrapped that around a 70-volt amplification platform. Now, 70 volt is catching a lot of momentum. It's obviously been very strong in the commercial audio world, and it's catching a lot of momentum also in the residential world. And AudioControl took the approach, as always, we're not trying to just make me too products. We want products that are going to differentiate ourselves, products that are going to be better than what the competition, and offer more features for what our dealers want. So these are true resi-commercial amplification. And when I say that is because we took the horsepower of a 70-volt amplifier, and we have 3 models in the family that are roughly 750 watts per channel into 2, 3, or 4 channels, and they're dual mode. So that means those amplifier channels could be 70 volts, or they could be 2 ohm or 4 ohm or 8 ohm. So I could run half the amplifier on 70-volt satellites, and maybe the other half of the amplifier could run on a subwoofer application. Now, to complement that, AudioControl included a preamp section on here, and that preamp section allows us to accept not only traditional balanced inputs, but unbalanced RCA, digital audio inputs, as well as digital audio outputs. So lots of flexibility on the inputs, dual mode on the amplification outputs, and high power levels from there. And one of the things that we also have been offering over the last 6 months is a Dante option. Those of you that do commercial are probably more familiar with Dante. Dante is a communication protocol where we can actually have the amplifiers communicate with themselves over a standard Ethernet enterprise grade network. So I can have an amplifier in one room talk to an amplifier in another room. That means the sources can be shared between zones over your standard network. The Dante connection allows for lots and lots of flexibility, whether the house is a nice 2,000 or 3,000 square foot, all the way up to a project where you're into recently that was 30 acres with buildings outside that were all connected via Dante, driving a horse stable. So happy day for the horses and the quality of the music that they receive. These are all built in, and the Dante options are certainly available in the CM series. And you'll see more Dante options from AudioControl this year at the CD Expo in Denver coming up next month. So hopefully you'll be able to join us there. Some outdoor applications, of course, that lend itself also from 70 volt, where we run a satellite system and a subwoofer. And this is a perfect example of some of the flexibility and the things that we can do with that. So, and for more information, certainly about Dante and products of that nature, we invite you to visit the AudioControl website. It's www.audiocontrolpro.com. We just rebranded it. So invite you to go there to find more information about our products. And of course, if you're in need of any additional training, catalogs, product information and such, please feel free to reach out to the team at Polaris Controls or anyone else at AudioControl. For the last 46 years, AudioControl has been very proud to be a leading designer and manufacturer of high-performance electronic products. And as you know, we carry a number of categories, and we like to lead the charge. And we have an amazing team of customer service, assembly technicians, after-sales support, and sales representatives, and members of our sales excellence team that are here to support you. So on behalf of AudioControl, I thank you for the time today. Look forward to connecting with all of you, hopefully at an upcoming CD event or someone near you. Thank you very much.
We really appreciate, Chris. I think you've mentioned, and before you go, you mentioned a lot of times best-in-class amplification, and some of our dealers have been having some questions regarding Class H amplification versus Class D amplifiers. Can you look a little bit into it?
Certainly. Yeah, depending on the applications, we use some digital topology amplifiers for our distributed audio, and we use Class H amplification in our larger theater amplifiers as well as in our receiver. Now, people may ask, is a Class H amplifier, and unfortunately I don't have a slide on that specifically, but a normal Class AB amplifier gives you the most possible warm sound, but also tends to generate the most amount of heat. And when you're driving a Class A or a Class AB amplifier, it's much like driving your car with your foot on the gas pedal and you're feathering the clutch to control the speed on that. A Class H amplifier is basically like having a transmission. So it looks at the amount of signal that's coming in. And if the system wants to be run at a mild amount, which is where a lot of systems operate, then the amplifier only operates at the lower power supply rails. So it runs a lot more efficiently and a lot cooler. If they want to really step on it and increase the performance level from that standpoint, from there, you can then, when you turn it up, the second rails kick in, much like the transmission will engage, and you can get higher power levels out of that. So more efficiency, great sound quality, and high power levels.
So great. So a lot of dealers are coming into CEDIA. You mentioned some surprises coming from Dante. What else can we expect to see in CEDIA?
Well, you'll see some more products of ours that will have Dante there. We're actually going to be introducing some new members to our home theater receiver family, which are kind of a hybrid. We're calling it our AVR minis, which will be a kind of a hybrid between our traditional receivers and our world famous Bijou amplifier. So picture all the performance level you get in a receiver, but in a box that's about the size of a Bijou amplifier. So ideal for behind the TV, inside of a cabinet, places where media rooms, a lot of houses will have a single home theater inside of them, but there's a lot of media rooms, a lot of offices, a lot of workout areas for having a good 3 and 5 channel amplifier to complement the system are needed. So, but we'll have that hidden away in the booth.
For sure, for sure. So thank you very much, Chris. We also like to welcome everybody in a couple of weeks at the CEDIA booth. Let's meet there and meet Chris and all the AudioControl team members face to face and see if we can start working with you guys. Thanks a
Yeah,
lot, Chris.
we're in booth 2509, right on the main cross area there. So we got two main aisles intersecting us. So you'll have to work really hard to miss us.